With me now is reporter Pamela Welsh. Now, she's been following this story ever since Hazel Blears became involved in that expenses issue. Welcome to Channel M today. It's aggravated the people of Salford sufficiently, do you think, for them to oust Ms Blears?
I think there is a huge feeling of antagonism against Hazel Blears at the minute. I mean, I think she's angered a lot of people, but she is trying to put that right at the minute, so I'm not convinced that this swell will last till the general election.
Do you think she'll stand down?
I don't think she will, no.
I don't think she will either.
No.
I think she'll ride this out. When it comes to the next election, though, that's the interesting thing. Stephen North was on the programme yesterday, and I asked him if he had candidates waiting in the wings, and he said about this ultimatum, we're going to ask her to stand down by October the 31st, and if she doesn't, then we'll put a candidate up. They must have somebody ready. You must know about candidates who are declaring interests already, Pamela.
Well, there's a few. I mean, for the Hazel Must Go campaign, they've set out a list of points that they want people to kind of embody if they're going to stand against Hazel. And I think that there's one candidate at the minute, Alec McFadden, who runs an employment centre in Eccles, and I think that he kind of embodies what they're looking for at the minute, and I think he'll probably be standing. And
he will stand as a Hazel Must Go representative rather than an independent candidate in his own right? Is he allying himself with this group?
He is allying himself with this group, I think. I think unofficially at the minute, but I do think that it's something that he's close to.
What about others? Anybody else said they'd quite like to chuck their hat into the ring?
There's a couple of people. So far, the Lib Dem candidate Norman Owen has signified that he wants to stand, and there's an independent called Richard Carvath as well who's due to stand.
Now, I know Salford well. I grew up there. You're not likely to do terribly well if you're a Tory candidate. Liberal Democrats, difficult. But if we have an official Labour candidate and a Hazel Must Go Labour candidate and an independent, is there a chance that the left to centre vote will split and let in somebody else, do you think?
I think there's a huge chance of that, really. I do believe that. I mean, it's going to be very, very difficult. It's only a 7,000 majority, so I think it's going to be quite difficult for Hazel, so I think she'll be out there on the streets campaigning.
That might surprise somebody. You think of a constituency like Salford, and the Labour MP's majority is only 7,000. Brian Idden in Bolton's is about 11,000. I think Andy Burnham's is in the 20,000s. I mean, it's eminently turnoverable, if there is such a word, if you forgive me, isn't it?
I think it is, yeah. I think, but she's already started on the campaign trail as it is at the minute, so I think she's trying to get her face out there and kind of say, do you know what, I'm here, I'm back in Salford, and
And is she knocking on the Advertiser's door wanting you to feature her, whereas perhaps she wasn't when she was a cabinet minister?
She is a bit.
Yeah. Suddenly she wants all the local media coverage she can get. Well, I mean, I'm sure.
To be fair, she was always quite accessible, so that's not too bad.
Well, there's a question. I mean, obviously, you know, the constituents have one thing. As a media MP, how do you find her? Is she approachable? Is she helpful, or does she shun the local media and she's more interested in the Guardian?
She's actually very, very affable as a media MP. I mean, she always speaks to us. And she will always address us if there's a big national issue, particularly of expenses. I was the first one to get the interview with her at the time, and it was quite a big coup at the time.
It was indeed, and yes, she's spoken to our Manchester Evening News and David Atwell on behalf of Channel M as well. So thank you, Pamela. I'm sure you'll follow the story with interest, as we will.